This is going to be going over some tips for the game for pretty much the first day, things you might want to look out for and make sure you don't mess up. First things first, I know a lot of you guys are going to be re-rolling. We have the beginner banner, which is 40 standard currency to finish it, and based off of the playtest, we would get a 5-star partner at the 50th roll, no matter how many 5 stars you hit on your way up. We'll see if that stays the same during the main launch of the game. And besides that, we have Haru as our first rate up unit. So these are the things I would expect most people to be targeting. I already said that you should probably be re-rolling for just who you like, because we don't know much about the meta, and I'll definitely put up an updated reroll guide going over how to reroll with the stuff we have at launch as well. But one really important thing is to not take too long rerolling, because based off of the playtest, the reset time should be 15 hours after launch. This game launches at 8 p.m. Pacific time, or 11 p.m. Eastern time for Americans, and then the reset time from playtest was 11 a.m. Pacific time, or 2 p.m. Eastern time. This matches the reset time in Epic 7 for Asia, Japan, and Korean server. So I would expect that in CZN we might have synced resets between the two different servers, which I guess makes sense. They're just trying to sync everything up. This means we have 15 hours to not just reroll, but also do all of our other daily tasks, which I'll be going over now. Also to sleep. Please get some sleep. Before the daily tasks, one more thing is when you are getting your dupe currency, we know that we can spend it in two different spots, either to buy partners directly or to buy imprints or more rolls. I would try to not waste these. There's definitely, for anybody who's min-maxing, there's definitely, I think, an efficient way to use your dupe currency, which we'll have to take a bit of a deeper look at like later. But for now, I would try to hold these if you can. If you're rerolling, then maybe just use these on like the currency to reroll faster. But after that, I would say just like hold your dupe currency. Also, your standard rolls. I personally think that your standard rolls should really be going into the partner banner more than the standard combatant banner. But that is also something we have to see. I think after you finish your like beginner banner, unless you just want to expand your unit pool and you don't really care, I plan on holding my standard rolls just to see how the game shakes out. Besides that, for your daily stuff, there's quite a few things. First up, you don't want to waste your energy, which is called ether in this game. Spend some energy immediately so you can start getting your natural regen going. For your energy regen currency, it was called drops of something, I don't remember. Basically the CZN equivalent of leaves. I would say ideally you want to hold that until you get to a higher account rank, because you're going to eventually unlock higher difficulty farming stages, which would give you more drops. So it kind of feels like a waste to use them immediately. Of course, if you're trying to rush content, then just use them. It's energy is energy, and you're going to want to just, I mean, if you're rushing content, then you just need the energy for account EXP. And then we have some other daily stuff to do. Like, Arc City has a lot of stuff. Like, we have the policy office here, which is very, very important. There's a lot of things packed into here. You want to be doing your policies immediately, because policies, one, it gives you little points which you can use. You can buy these things to spend in the research facility, which is like a skill tree. It gives you a ton of stuff. There's some really important stuff in here, like for your policies. Regen your policies faster, you can hold more. Holding more is relevant because at the server reset time, you can see here, this is after a couple of policy regen like buff timers, so this is reduced a little bit. Besides just this reset, at server reset time, it maxes out all the policies that you hold. So you definitely like want to get that going. And the policies also give you some rewards. You can see the grade here. Even just the C rank gets you stars. So it's not like a ton of stars, but it's a pretty decent amount, I think. And it's also really, really good for affinity farming. So yeah, the policy office is super, super important. I've done a quick guide from the playtest on this, though I'll definitely do an updated one later. There's also the coffee shop, which here, besides petting the cats, once a day you can order from the shop. This either gives you 80 ether, which you have to use instantly, or it gives you this, which you can hold 4 at a time, and it gives you 60 ether. Basically, you lose 20 ether for the ability to spend it later instead of now. Personal preference, whichever one you want. This just lets you put it off for later pretty much. And again, this is 1 a day, so you definitely want to be taking advantage of this. there is also the communication passes, which can be used for two different things. First up is they can be used for excursions. Excursions are nice because, I mean, they're little hangouts with your characters. You get to learn a little bit about them, and it increases their affinity, but also this excursion collection thing here. You can see each character has like 7 or so, and once you've done all of the excursions, you'll be able to collect some gems. And then, I mean, you can just do this with your favorites, but eventually you're going to be doing this for farming gems too. And it uses 1 communication pass per excursion. Communication passes are also used in the trauma center, where any character that's had a mental breakdown or is in a state of mental breakdown from doing your chaos runs, you need to use a communication pass to do counseling with them. This has 2 uses. I've also done a guide on this. You get stars from doing this. You want to be giving your characters mental breakdowns. This is 300 stars. This is a lot. So definitely a very efficient use of passes, especially at the start, to get all of your stars. But also, when your character's in a state of mental breakdown, you can't get new save data. Like, you get fragmented data, which you have to counsel them and fix their mental breakdowns before you can actually turn it into proper save data. So that is definitely something to keep in mind as well. That's why this currency you might not want to spend immediately. Maybe save it for like the end of the day or something so that you can actually get your save data. Or you could just wait for the day to roll over and get more communication passes. The communication pass amount, 1 out of 3, it fully regens at reset time, and you can actually increase this to 4 from the from here. Somewhere in this like research facility skill tree increases the communication passes you can hold to 4. And I guess that isn't really related to your daily task, but you can also delete memories. Just note that this deletes any sort of fragmented save data your characters are holding. So now, I use up your communication passes, but there are some things I'd say you don't want to spend too fast. This is kind of like min-maxy, but these loot certification cards are used in your chaos runs to get chaos loot. And it's not a ton of rewards, but it's a decent amount. We don't know much about this currency. Like, we don't know how fast it regens or how much. My assumption has been 6 a week because we started with 6 at the start of the game, and there's weekly chaos runs in Collected Calamity. 6 a week also makes it so that you have 2 weeks to spend all of your passes, because like, let's just say you don't feel like doing chaos runs this week, or you just do like 1, you don't want to do more. You can use up 2 passes per run, so you'll be at 4 out of 12. Another week rolls over and you're at 10 out of 12 and you have more time to spend your passes. I think a nice little like buffer week would be really, really nice. But because I would expect these loot certification cards to scale your rewards based on the difficulty you're doing, you probably want to hold these for as long as you can, at least until you hit the highest difficulty. It's, like I said, kind of min-maxy, but slightly higher rewards for pretty much for free. Do note that this would mean you have to spend all of your communication passes, or at least 6 of them, assuming it's 6 per week. Like on the last day, which might be a lot of time investment, so that is something for you to factor in. If we get confirmation that it's 6 per week, then I would hold at the end of the second week, like hit 12 out of 12, and spend as much time as you can getting your account rank up. And then lastly, weekly boss materials. This was an insane resource gate during the playtest. You definitely want to try and get to the highest difficulty possible before doing your weekly boss runs. It's 3 a week. And we didn't get the very high difficulty during the playtest, so this might not be too applicable to the first week unless they decided to make difficulty 3 drop 2 as well. But I think definitely in like later weeks, you want to try and max out the difficulty or get as high as you can. Do your weekly runs on Sunday, just so you can maximize the amount of weekly boss mats you get. I think it's going to be really sad if like you do all your runs and then during the week you hit a difficulty that would have given you 2 drops a run instead of 1, and you just basically lost out on like 3 materials for no reason. So that's it for this like quick tips before launch, and hopefully you guys have a good time with the game.